So let's work with some materials which will help you to improve your level of English. Consuming passions. Matthew Gibbon has been a supporter of the Scottish national rugby team for as long as he can remember. As a schoolboy, he was crazy about the sport, but he became more and more obsessed with it. He now reckons that he devotes about 30 hours a week to training, playing, or watching games. It was a colleague at work who first suggested that Charlotte Pullman should give paintballing a try. Charlotte quickly got a taste for it and now spends every weekend running around with a paint gun in her hand. It's a great way of meeting people, she says, and it also takes my mind off work. As a teenager, Craig Schutz and his friends were all big fans of Star Trek, but Greg's interest turned into a passion. Greg got that Trekkie bug in a big way and became a real aficionado, setting up his own website and organizing annual conventions. Tony O'Neill was always keen on ghost stories, but decided to take up ghost hunting after watching a TV documentary about it. Once you're into it, there's no turning back, says Tony, who has spent over £30,000 on the specialized equipment he needs. I wouldn't call it a hobby, he says. It's more a way of life. One of the most popular weekend leisure activities in Britain is attending car boot sales. Hundreds of people park their cars in fields or large car parks. They set up tables at the back of their car to display the items they want to trade. Anything and everything is bought and sold, from unwanted household items to collectible items to stolen goods. Most of it is junk, but people occasionally find incredible bargains. Endangered birds. The helmeted hornbill. One of the world's strangest birds, the helmeted hornbill has a huge bill or beak that is made from heavy ivory. Aggressive male birds will fight each other in mid-air, crashing their beaks against their opponents. The call of the helmeted hornbill sounds like a crazy laugh, and local people believe the birds guard the river to the underworld. Its natural forest habitat in Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia is under constant threat from illegal logging operations. Hunters will also kill the hornbill for its beak, which is more valuable than elephant ivory. The New Zealand kiwi, which resembles more than a little the fruit of the same name, looks cute, cuddly, and defenseless. It can, however, run extremely fast and will defend itself against predators with its sharp feet. It feeds at night and has a very strong sense of smell, which is rare for a bird. But the chicks do not have these defenses, and 95% of the chicks of one species, the brown kiwi, are killed by dogs, cats, and other animals introduced from Europe. The kiwi, the national symbol of New Zealand, and a word that has come to mean a New Zealander, is also experiencing a loss of its forest habitat. The UK has a reputation for being a nation of dog lovers. There are almost 5 million dogs in the UK, and 1 in 4 families owns a pet dog. The high point of the year for British dog lovers is Crufts, the world's largest dog show and competition, which attracts more than 21,000 dogs and 120,000 people, and many more who watch on TV. People in Britain give generously to charities like the Battersea Dogs Home, which looks after abandoned pets, or the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. On average, a dog owner will spend more than £1,750 a year on their pet. In fact, many dog owners claim to get on better with their dog than they do with their partner. Read the situation and decide what you would say. Your teenage daughter comes home late one day. She's wearing black lipstick, heavy black makeup, she has a stud in her tongue, and she has dyed her hair black and purple. She's wearing a long, ankle length, ripped black skirt and a tight black t shirt with the word lost in blood red letters. She says that she wants to go to a goth festival in the school holidays. You're worried that she's putting her future in danger. The Lost Tribes of London. Hippies. Disillusioned with corporate America, middle aged, middle class values, and their country's involvement in the Vietnam War, many young Americans in the late 1960s adopted an alternative lifestyle and came to be known as hippies. They showed their rejection of Western material values by turning to the East. Ethnic Indian inspired jewelry and clothes were in, with flared denim jeans and loose tops with flowery or psychedelic patterns. Men wore long hair and beards. Some people lived in easygoing communes, others followed Eastern religions, and many turned to drugs, which claimed the lives of musical heroes like Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. Young people in Britain soon copied their American counterparts, and the hippie slogans of peace and love and no nuclear bombs became common on this side of the Atlantic. Punks. Punks made their first appearance in Britain in about 1976. They were anti fashion, anti hippie, anti establishment, anti everything. To begin with, there was no particular style. Their music was a mixture of rock and reggae among other genres. They wore ripped or scruffy clothes, t shirts with provocative slogans, and studs or safety pins as jewelry. The most popular band was the Sex Pistols, led by the sneering, cynical Johnny Rotten. Following a TV appearance when the Sex Pistols shocked the country with their appearance and their swearing, newspapers rushed to report on the new trend. Inspired by the newspaper stories and by the disapproval of their parents, young people across the country adopted the new fashion very quickly. But the creativity and originality of the early punks was soon replaced by unimaginative copying. Studded leather jackets and wild, shocking pink hairstyles became a uniform, and the punks themselves became tourist attractions. Goths. Goths first came on the scene in the early 1980s as punk fashions became more and more uniform. Inspired by horror novels and movies, both boys and girls dressed in black 19th century style clothes and wore dark makeup. As a result of their portrayal in the press, it was often thought that Goths worshipped the devil or were obsessed with death, but there was never really any set of beliefs associated with being a Goth. Early Goths listened to The Cure or Siouxsie and the Banshees, originally a punk band, but more recently they are more likely to be fans of Marilyn Manson. Nike, the world's most famous brand of trainers, is an American company that is named after the Greek goddess of victory. Nike succeeded in transforming the sports shoe into an essential fashion accessory. Now a global business with sales over $19 billion, its first store opened in California in 1966. Over its history, Nike has signed contracts with many of the world's top stars, ranging from golf legend Tiger Woods to the Brazilian national football team. Its advertisements with their slogan "Just Do It" have become almost as famous as the shoes they sell. Becoming a model. The first requirement, of course, is to have a beautiful or interesting face. You must be able to change your facial expression very quickly. You need to be extremely slim. You need to be quite tall. You should be under 30 or at least look as if you are. You are never allowed to have spots or look tired. You must do exactly as you are told. You must be very tolerant of the people around you. It is often said that the British have a stiff upper lip. They are said to hide their emotions, especially in difficult or unpleasant situations. They remain calm and do not like to complain. Many British people are proud of this characteristic even though they make jokes about it. However, it has been suggested that it is less true of the British now than it was in the past. When Princess Diana died in 1997, hundreds of thousands of British people cried openly in the streets, and emotional openness is increasingly seen as natural and healthy. The Civil Rights Movement. Slavery was officially abolished in the USA in 1865, but black Americans, although no longer slaves, continued to be treated as second class citizens for almost 100 years. Segregation laws in the southern states allowed for racial separation in schools, parks, playgrounds, restaurants, hotels, theaters, public transport, and so on. This situation continued until the 1950s and the birth of the civil rights movement headed by Martin Luther King. The movement would fight for liberty and equality for the next 10 years until these laws were finally overturned in 1964. The Man Booker Prize for Fiction is one of the world's most important literary prizes. It is awarded each year for the best original full-length novel written by a citizen of the Commonwealth Zimbabwe or the Republic of Ireland in the English language. A panel of judges choose short list of 6 novels from over 100 entrants. The short list is announced in September, and then a month later, the prize is awarded in a special televised ceremony. The winner of the Man Booker Prize receives £50,000. In addition, both the winner and the shortlisted authors are guaranteed a worldwide readership and a dramatic increase in book sales. General elections usually take place every 4 years in Britain. The country is divided into about 650 local constituencies, and each district elects one member of parliament. Anyone can stand for election, but voters choose only one candidate, and most of the seats in parliament are won by the main political parties. Voting is not compulsory, and the turnout is sometimes very low, especially in places that are considered to be safe seats for one of the big parties. The polling stations close at the end of the day, and the results are announced when the ballot papers have been counted. In 1893, New Zealand took the historic step of becoming the first country in the world to grant the vote to all adult women. The decision came after a 15-year campaign led by Kate Shepherd. Shepherd became a well-known historical figure in her own country, where she can be seen on a $10 bill. She also traveled to Canada, the United States, and Britain, where she met other suffragettes who were fighting for the right to vote. By the time of her death in 1934, women in nearly 20 countries around the world had won the right to vote. New Zealand had its first woman prime minister in 1997, and 10 years later, women had been elected heads of state on all 5 continents. Martha Stewart is a lifetime guide and an American icon. Millions of middle-class Americans look to her to tell them how to live their lives, how to throw a party, how to decorate their homes, how to bring up their children. Her magazines and TV shows are followed by millions. Her shopping website and lifestyle merchandise have made her a millionaire several times over. She has She was born one of 6 children to a middle-class Polish-American family, and true to the American dream, grew to be one of the state's wealthiest and most successful businesswomen. Even a much publicized conviction and short jail sentence for insider trading and obstructing federal investigations failed to tarnish her image, and millions of people in the state still dream of living the Martha Stewart way. So we can finish here. Put a like on my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.